Shalom, family. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah. That's giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh Bashem, meaning coming in the name of, and Yahweh Shah, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Usano from the dirt, and I remember where I'm from. All praises to the Most High. I am nothing. You know what I'm saying? I am nothing. I can't do nothing without the Most High willing it, man. I am nothing. I am nobody. You heard? But I just want to, put a quick little message out there, man. Dealing with fruit. You know what I'm saying? Um, I used to be an influence on a lot of people, right? Growing up, and I wasn't the best influence. I could admit that. I was terrible. It was terrible. But now coming into this truth, I realize we got to be more careful how we conduct ourselves in our day-to-days, man. People are always watching, people are always listening, right? But most importantly, God is always watching, God is always listening, right? So without further ado, let's get into this, right? And I'm just touching on fruit, right? Bearing fruit. What kind of fruit should we be bearing? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But I'm in John chapter 15, verse 1 says, oh, and this is the, hold on, Salakia. This is the NRSV that I'm going into today. So, John 15 in the NRSV, verse 1 says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He removes every branch in me that bears no fruit. Now, I want to stop right there and elaborate, right? We know that we're supposed to deal with the fruit of the Spirit. We know that we're supposed to follow Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus Christ, as our example on how we should act, right? Now, let's read this again. I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He removes every branch in me that bears no fruit. Every branch in him is dealing with us, being in him and him in us, right? So now, every branch that bears fruit, he prunes to make it bear more fruit. So some of us, we already know that we're going to go through trials and tribulations, being a part of this truth. Even for the people that are not a part of the truth, right? Our people is prophesied to go through some things, right? But imagine those that are suffering for the Lord's sake. Um, you know, the righteous are definitely afflicted much, but every branch that bears fruit, he prunes to make it bear more fruit. So the righteous are going to give off, you know, um, righteous fruit, right? Now, there's going to be a lot of, stuff to come with that, right? To whom much is given, much is required, right? But we're gonna come up with different types of burdens and stuff like that, right? But just continue, right? And that's a whole nother topic, but I wanna just elaborate on this fruit. He prunes to make bear more fruit. So those of righteous fruit, that's gonna spread out, and more righteous fruit are gonna be around. Right? But now let's continue. Verse 3. You have already been cleansed by the word that I have spoken to you. Abide in me as I abide in you. Just as the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. We can't give off good fruit. We can't bear good fruit unless we abide in Christ. And we know that abiding in Christ, we have to follow the laws of the Most High God and have faith in Him and His Father, right? So, abiding, being one with the Most High God, being one with His Son, abiding in Him and Him inside of you, just being on one accord with the Father. But we can't bear good fruit unless the one that is good is within us, right? The Father that is good. If we abide in Christ and His words abide in us, Him and the Father make their abode with us, right? But we got to understand it's about the fruit that we bear. What kind of fruit are we bearing? What kind of fruit come from us? And it starts at home. What kind of fruit are in your home, right? What kind of, how long have you been with your wife? How long have you been with your children in your home? What kind of fruit do they have, right? Where because I was real wicked in the world, you know what I'm saying? But all praises to the Most High that I came into this truth and understand things. And now I'm trying to bear better fruit, and I want my children to bear better fruit, right? So this is a constant thing that we're working on, but this is what we have to do. In order to bear good fruit, we must first abide in Him and He in us, right? Now, verse 5, I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who abide in me and I in them bear much fruit. Because apart from me, you can do nothing. There's nothing we can possibly do to bear good fruit unless we have Christ abiding in us, right? There's nothing we can do. You either with Him or against Him. Verse 6, whoever does not abide in me is thrown away like a branch and withers. Such branches are gathered, thrown into the fire, and burned. Right? And we gotta seriously think about this and analyze these scriptures, right? Because we understand that if we don't follow the laws of the Most High God, we do not abide in Him. And He does not abide in us, and neither does His Son. And we don't want to be the branches that get thrown into the fire and burned, right? We want to make sure that the fruit we're giving off are of Him that abides in us, not our own, right? Because we're made of flesh, right? And we're going to go with whatever our flesh desires. We can't live through the flesh. We have to live through the Spirit. And the laws are spiritual. And if we live according to the laws, God the Father and Yahweh Shah the Son will make their abode with us and dwell within us. We can't do nothing about it unless we can't do nothing about what kind of fruit we bear unless we allow them to live through us, right? Now, that's going to take practice, right? Living according to the fruits of the Spirit, right? And that's going to be a whole nother lesson. But right now, what I'm trying to emphasize is we need to start living more after, the fruit that Christ was bearing, right? What we know Him for, what we know Him as, right? Verse 7, if you abide in me and my words abide in you, ask for whatever you wish and it will be done for you. My Father is glorified by this, that you may bear much fruit and become my disciples. So that's the plan. That's the job right there. To bear much fruit, right? Not just any fruit. The fruit of the Spirit, man. The fruit that, Yahweh Shai walked with. That's how you become His disciple, walking in His fruit, right? Walking after the fruit that our King bared, and we bear witness to, right? Just because you know the Bible from Genesis to Revelation don't make you his disciple. Let that sink in, family. There's a lot of us that are, doing a lot of great works. I'll give you that. There's a lot of us doing a lot of, you know, doing big things, but when nobody's looking, when the cameras are off, when you're no longer live on YouTube, are you walking in the fruit of the Spirit? Are you walking after Yahushua? Is He still abiding in you when your phone dies? When your YouTube live is over? Are you still abiding in Christ and Him in you? We got to analyze this, man. Right? Verse 9, as the Father has loved me, so have I loved you. Abide in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will abide in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. Yahushua is not teaching us something that he wasn't willing to do. He kept the laws of his Father. And he abided in his Father, and his Father abided in him. That's what we need to do. And the only way to do that is to follow him. Right? Let's go back to verse 5. I am the vine, you are the branches. Those who abide in me and I in them bear much fruit. Because apart from me, you can do nothing. This is the only way to bear our fruit, man, to follow after Christ, just as he followed his Father's commandments and abided in his Father's love. Verse 11, I have said these things to you so that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be complete. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. Right? Imagine the kind of love you would have to be trying to follow as far as the fruits of the Spirit to even consider that position. Right? No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. Right? It's crazy work, right? A lot of us talk a good game, but sometimes fear may take over. You may say, yeah, nah, I'm with all the smoke. And then you hear that gunshot go off and you just running, right? One of the disciples, said, man, I'm with you, Lord. And he's like, you gonna deny me, man. You gonna deny me 3 times. So even though our hearts sometimes mean well, we got to make sure that we really putting into practice the fruit of the Spirit, man. The fruit that Yahushua lived according to. You know what I'm saying? Following the laws of the Most High God according to those fruit. You know what I'm saying? Verse 14, you are my friends if you do what I command you. I do not call you servants any longer, because the servant does not know what the master is doing. But I have called you friends, because I have made known to you everything that I have heard from my Father. Imagine that. Imagine being honored to be called a friend of Christ, right? Verse 16, you did not choose me, but I chose you. And I appointed you to go and bear fruit. Fruit that will last, so that the Father will give you whatever you ask him in my name. I am giving you these commands so that you may love one another. This is what Yahushua wanted us to do, man. This is what his commands are based on. Loving, right? Bearing fruit. Now we got to ask ourselves, what kind of fruit are we bearing? And if, this ain't to bash nobody that's bearing bad fruit. We are, made of flesh, and we are in a wild captivity, right? And some a lot of things we don't understand, but we can better ourselves day to day, right? Just try. The Lord knows that's all we can do. Um, it's definitely a struggle, especially when you've been living your life as you have pleased since you can remember, and then finally coming into the truth and understanding that the way you lived your life was completely wrong and you have to like do a 360. It's understandable, but we have to utilize Christ as our flashlight, man. Right? He's the truth and he's the way. He's the light, man. We gotta use him in order to live according to what is pleasing to the Father, right? Um, so yeah, let's question ourselves every day, man. What kind of fruit did I bear yesterday? What kind of fruit am I bearing today? I want to be better. I want to do better. I want my family to do better, my children, right? We want to do better. So we have to be the change that we want to see within our home. We have to be the change that we want to see within our communities, right? So just focus on bearing fruit after Christ, right? I hope somebody was edified during the duration of this video, gained some kind of knowledge, wisdom, or understanding. I pray that the Lord gives us all discernment and fill us with love, mercy, and humility above all else, right? And with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that's giving all praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, meaning coming in the name of, and Yahweh Shai, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Shalom. Love y'all, family.